Welcome to Carillon Explorations, where we uncover the hidden treasures and backstories of the world of carillons, huge musical instruments made up of a series of tuned bells played from a special keyboard with batons and foot pedals.
Today we're visiting Ghent in Belgium, where the Carillon Tower at the heart of the city remains a vibrant and melodic symbol of the people's independent spirit. We'll travel through time to unveil the mysteries of Ghent's medieval Belfort and climb up for an exclusive look at the City Carillonneur Kenneth Theunissen performing on the tower's 54 tuned bells. In this Flemish art city, as in other cities of the Low Countries, the Belfort, or Belfry, was a place where the bells communicated important messages while also showing off civic pride, a heritage that can still be heard in Ghent today as the Carillonneur entertains tourists and city dwellers with a wide-ranging program that can even incorporate other instruments and groups. Let's start far back in time, right at the bottom of the museum inside the Belfry. The first stones for this tower were laid at the beginning of the 14th century when the city council, under the control of the guilds, organizations of craftsmen and merchants, decided to build it as a challenge to the ruling Count of Flanders. The Belfry expressed the power of the guilds and the autonomy of the citizenry. The medieval chest here contained the city privileges, rights granted to the citizens by the nobility that included market and taxation rights. It was held in a locked room at the bottom of the Belfry and closed with 3 locks whose keys were held by 3 different people. Over these essential documents, the bells stood guard. In a time when few people could read, bells were a way to let everyone know the time of day and also summon citizens for public events or emergencies. So having control of a bell tower and the privilege of ringing official bells was a potent expression of authority. The Tower Museum displays replicas of the 4 original stone guards that were posted around the Belfry. In reality, there was a whole team of guards here keeping watch over the city and broadcasting messages in several different ways. There were town pipers who would announce new bylaws in the city. There was a squad of trumpeters who would announce the hours at night from the windows of the tower. And there were bell ringers who chimed the hour and rang the work bells during the day and also went out to patrol the streets at night after the curfew bell was rung. At the same time as the tower was built, the guilds also commissioned a new large bell. The Roeland, or Roeland bell, was cast in 1314. The name Roeland was a reference to the Song of Roeland, an epic poem in which the title character fights for his nation under the Frankish ruler Charlemagne. He was popularly seen as an upholder of civic autonomy. Ghent's Roeland bell was used to signal when there was a fire, a huge problem in a city made mainly of wood, or when the tower watchmen saw attackers approaching. During times of war and tumult, the citizens of Ghent rallied around their alarm bell. In 1540, Charles V, who ruled the Holy Roman Empire, had the Roeland bell removed from the Belfry to quell the citizens' revolt against taxation. By taking away Ghent's bell privilege, he dealt a major blow to the city's power, but this only cemented the reputation of Roeland as a symbol of freedom and independence. As the city grew in wealth and stature, the city council decided to replace the existing 18-bell carillon in the tower and order a new carillon from Pieter Hemony, who was the preeminent maker of well-tuned carillons in his time. Thus, the original Roeland bell was melted down in 1659 to feed this process. Hemony made a new carillon of 37 bells and later was asked to make 3 larger bells called triumphants that would not just sound the alarm but also entertain the city with music in harmony with the 37 other Hemony bells. The people named the largest of the triumphants Roeland, carrying on the legacy of its predecessor. Along with the new carillon, Hemony produced the clock barrel that still serves as a giant music box cylinder indicating the tunes for the tower clock's automatic play every quarter hour. Visitors can watch the automatic play at work and also go outside to listen while taking in the view. Over time, the composition of the Belfort's Carillon has undergone many changes, with bells being substituted and retuned and more bells added to the mix. You can see some bells that are no longer part of the Carillon up close inside the Tower Museum today. The Phillips bell, another of the 3 giant triumphants from Hemony, even has a hole with a diameter of more than 3 inches, reportedly made by an Austrian cannonball shot in 1789. Amazingly, this bell still sounds true and is part of the current Carillon. The second Roeland also left the chamber after it developed a catastrophic crack in 1914. Originally, it was to be melted down in 1948, but the citizens raised an uproar, and they also raised funds to make a new Roeland bell so the old one, with all its symbolic value, could be kept. More than half a century later, its crack was successfully repaired by the Dutch ijsbouts foundry, and it now hangs in an open installation in the Emile Brouwenplein near the Belfry. The third Roeland bell, sporting the birth years of its 2 predecessors as well as the year of its own founding, was welcomed with pomp and ceremony when it arrived in Ghent in 1948. It still forms part of the present-day Carillon. Today, Kenneth Theunissen, the City Carillonneur of Ghent, entertains people from around the world with jazzy melodies and energetic rhythms on the tower's 54 tuned bells. He plays solo recitals and also collaborates with other instruments in special concerts. Let's visit him in the Carillon cabin high above the city, which isn't usually accessible to tourists, and watch how he brings out the sound of this amazing collection of historic and newer bells. We can see the motion of clappers in the smaller bells above as Kenneth plays from the keyboard in the cabin, situated right in the middle of the bell structure. Amid the throngs of visitors who come to experience Ghent, the city's Belfort still keeps the time, and the tradition of Carillon playing keeps alive a colorful and sometimes raucous heritage dating to medieval times. You can hear Kenneth and other carillonneurs play live music from the Belfort in the weekly Sunday recitals from 11 a.m. to noon and in special concerts. Follow the links below to find the Carillon recital calendar and to learn how you can visit the tower. We'll hear more stories from the Carillon world and see new places in future explorations. Hit the like button and subscribe to join us on our journey inside the dynamic world of Carillons and the characters who make them sing out with music, and be sure to share your comments and questions. Till later.